everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is Luann de Lesseps dragging Bethenny Frankel for filth, but I'm going to tell you why I actually think all of this is going down. But before I dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a Kiki is always better with community. And don't forget to check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. With that, let's dive right on in. So, as you guys may or may not know, Luann came out swinging in her interview with Page 6 regarding Bethenny Frankel now wanting to launch a new podcast about rewatching the Housewives and her, giving her opinion on it. If you can't handle the truth, you can't handle me. I'm Bethenny B, blah, 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 blah. Luann had some very strong words from her. Now, we're going to read the article from Page 6, and then we'll watch a snippet of the interview, and then I'll break down what I actually think is going on here, okay? Here we go. So this is from Page 6. Luann drags, quote, desperate Bethenny over Housewives podcast after many failed pivots. I mean, Luann already snatched all of Bethenny's edges and left no crumbs because, the truth hurts. But let's get into it. Luann de Lesseps took a shot at Bethenny Frankel, and she certainly did not miss. Shortly after Frankel announced that she's launching a Real Housewives rewatch podcast, de Lesseps went off on her former Real Housewives of New York City co-star. Appearing on Friday's episode of Everything Iconic, de Lesseps, 57, agreed with host Danny Pellegrino that Frankel, 52, has spent the majority of her years away from rhony essing on the show, like crapping on the show. Right. And if it's the worst of the show, that means she's gonna and if she S's on the show, and if she craps on the show, I'm trying not to swear. And if she craps on the show, that means she's gonna crap on us on her little podcast about the Housewives, the former Countess savagely predicted. Okay, it's pretty sad and pathetic that she has to resort to Housewives because all of her failed pivots since the Housewives, de Lesseps went on, noting Frankel has tried everything to separate herself from the series she quit for good in 2019, but it doesn't seem to work. According to the Cabaret star, it's a, quote, pretty desperate scenario. Alongside de Lesseps, Frankel helped launch rhony back in 2008. Fans watched as the sharp-tongued, quick-witted Big Apple native went from being a struggling natural food chef to the founder of a multi-million-dollar company. After she left the series a few years ago due to what her co-stars felt as a case of becoming too big for her britches, Frankel went on to star in a spin-off show, Bethenny Ever After, before landing her own talk show, Bethenny, that only lasted a year. She ultimately returned to rhony in 2015 ahead of season 7, but dipped out after season 11. Since then, the businesswoman has been vocal about her criticism of the Housewives shows, tweeting as recently as last year that the concept of the franchise, quote, devolved. Okay, well, she might not be wrong there. She also indirectly called out Bravo for capitalizing on women's weaknesses. Ironically, her podcast, she already hosts iHeartRadio's Just Be with Bethenny Frankel, is titled Re-Rives. Dropping November 14th, the show will explore real-life issues including family, fame, finances, friendship through the lens of the Housewives series. Frankel told People on Friday that the idea actually came from her fiancé, Paul Vernon. He said, "You're the Tom Brady of Housewives." Listen, Bethenny, you want to be the Tom Brady. Lisa Rinna wants to be the LeBron James. Y'all need to both stop. All right, let's get back to it. She explains, you should be breaking down the game, she explained, adding that she believes Bravo is going to love it too because it's going to make people go back and watch the episodes. She said, "You can't forget where you came from, so I always reference Housewives. I mean, it led to such tremendous success for me. This is where it started for me. I don't want to be there in the same way that I was, but it's such a larger than life concept that you can't help but indulge in it." The Be Strong founder continued that she and her celebrity guests will not be rehashing the show's surface level drama, but rather delving deeper into the real dynamics that are going on underneath. You mean what we do over here with the Candy Cane community? She basically described my YouTube channel, guys. But listen, let's watch a snippet because it's really funny to watch Luann shade the hell out of Bethenny. And then I'm going to get into what I think is actually going on, okay? But let's watch.
It's pretty sad and pathetic that, you know, she has to resort to Housewives because of all of her failed, you know, pivots since the Housewives. You know, it's a pretty desperate scenario. She's trying to grab the fame of Housewives to keep her storyline going. This sounds like a desperate search for a storyline for herself. And, you know, she's thrown Housewives under the bus a million times. So, you know, a disgruntled housewife doing a Housewives podcast, I don't think anybody wants to listen to.
If you can't handle the truth, you can't handle me.
Bethenny. All right, now I'm going to break down what I think is actually going on here. I think that both Bethenny Frankel and Luann de Lesseps are windmilling to be on rhony legacy. That's what I think is really going on here, because I think that, again, they have not officially named the cast for who's going back for rhony legacy. As we know, they broke up the Real Housewives of New York City. They have the reboot that they're relaunching with all new people, totally, you know, new cast. I'll probably do a video on what I think about the cast because I'm actually not that excited for it, but that's a whole nother video. But they haven't decided who they're bringing back for legacy. You know, even Ramona Singer, who obviously is problematic with everything going on with Ebony Williams, blah, 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 blah. But she was on Carlos King, and even she was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be asked back. I don't know. So I think that this is them, both Bethenny and Luann, setting up a plea to get cast on legacy. Do you know what I mean? Like, this would be their beef. This would be their storyline. And I also think that Bethenny was kind of earmarking it or dog whistling it. Like, oh, you know, I'm the Tom Brady of the Housewives. You know, I would love to come back. This is where it started. Blah, 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 blah. Now, all of a sudden, she has, you know, nice things to say about the Real Housewives. Now, all of a sudden, she's paying homage to how she got her money and where she started from. But prior to that, Luann is right. Bethenny was dogging out the Housewives. It's saying it devolved and this, that, and the third. And she has a falling out with everyone. She had a falling out with Carol. And Carol, honestly, was her only true friend on the show. Ramona never really liked her. She dogged out Sonia, you know, said she had a cheater brand and made the girl cry when she was just trying to sell some, you know, tipsy girl stuff. Like, let the girl live. There's enough for everybody. So I kind of agree with Luann on this, but I think that the undercurrent is both Bethenny and Luann wanting to come back to Bravo, wanting to be booked on legacy. And when she talks about when she talks about Bethenny's failed pivots, it's true. I mean, as much money as Bethenny has, a lot of her ventures have not been successful. You know, she did her talk show, which lasted 1 year and that got canceled. She did her whole entrepreneur show that she had. It was almost like an apprentice version with Bethenny. That was a big flop. I think that lasted 1 season and that failed. We all saw in the last couple of weeks, Bethenny got a lot of backlash and criticism for, you know, sending cease and desist to content creators on frickin' TikTok because they exposed her business plan for her skincare line and her beauty line that she was trying to build up on her TikTok platform. And then she sent them those cease and desist. She got a huge backlash for being, you know, a big hypocrite about that. So a lot of things that Bethenny has tried to do haven't worked out. But that's also just par for the course of being an entrepreneur. You know, a lot of things that she's done has really worked out. She does, you know, have all this money. I think Be Strong, in my personal opinion, is the biggest feather in her cap. You know, she does a lot of philanthropy. She really does help a lot of people, and she shows it. She's transparent. She's like, this is the money I have from the charity. This is where it goes. You can see how I actually help people. Unlike some people who have charities, wink, wink, Diana Jenkins, that are maybe not up to snuff, allegedly. So I'm going to give Bethenny her flowers when it comes to that. And then also her skinny girl empire obviously made her a ton of money, and she's doing great there. But like a lot of wealthy people, I think she's just bored. Because also kind of like a Diana Jenkins, like Bethenny, you could just kind of have several seats. You could kind of sit back and chill and, you know, you got some money and just sort of do your thing behind the scenes. But there's nothing like that drug called fame. There's nothing like that drug called validation from other people. There's nothing like that drug. So I think Bethenny is chasing the high of being in the public eye, of being talked about, of mentioning it all, on being on shows. That's why she's always dogging Meghan Markle. She's always dogging the Kardashians. She inserted herself into the Kathy Hilton, Kyle, and Lisa Rinna drama, you know? She wants to be a part of the conversation. She still wants to be relevant. And I say all of that to say this, I actually really like Bethenny. She is one of my favorite housewives. I actually really, really like her. And I think she's really funny, and I think she's cool. And I'll definitely be listening to her podcast. But I also want it to be objective and break down what I see is going on and what I think is going on, not just, you know, only say the great things about the housewives that I like, but to be fair and open and honest about all of the stuff, right? I love Luann too. I think she's hilarious. I think she's funny. I love that she kind of lives in her own like delusional world, just like Sonia does. But it's an amazing, fantastic cabaret world. So let the girl live. Let her live. So that's what I kind of think is going on here. I think that Luann and Bethenny are both setting up Bravo, bringing them back for Legacy, and them having this storyline of the two of them beefing. Because even baked in to Luann slamming Bethenny as desperate and pathetic, it was still promoting Bethenny's podcast. It was like, it drops November 14th. This is what it's called. This is what it's about. So even though in the article it seems like Luann is trashing Bethenny, it was still promo. I would have had no idea about Bethenny's new podcast if Luann wasn't trashing it in page 6. So it's still promo. So I think that these women get behind the scenes and work together, and they know who's going to have the beefs, who's going to have the storylines. So I'm with it. I would actually love both of them to come back for Legacy. I would love to see this, you know, this storyline play out between these two alpha women. So I'm going to do my quick outro for everybody watching on the replay, but stick around, my candy canes, because right after I will go through some of your candy cane comments. So as always, I want to know what you guys think, so put it down below. Do you think that this is just a PR stunt for Luann and Bethenny to come back to Legacy, or do you think, no, this beef is 100% real, and this is just Luann calling a thing and calling Bethenny out for, sure, she has a lot of money, but a lot of her stuff actually has not really panned out, and this is just Bethenny wanting to be relevant? Or do you think, nope, I'm here for it, I want to listen to her podcast, she is the Tom Brady of the housewives, I'm going to be listening in? Put it down below, and anything else you want to share. And as always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. And check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. Thank you. All right, you guys.